Hello and welcome to Senior Art Strokes. I'm Angel Mercado. Today we're going to be working on a scene that happens that I see a lot when I go to Honeymoon Island. And these are fishermen and their equipment. And of course, because of that, we have birds. They like to hang around just waiting for that fish that's going to be thrown back and see if they can get it. So we're going to draw an egret that is waiting and keeping an eye on this fisherman while it's standing on top of the fisherman's bucket with all of his equipment. What I'm doing here, you've seen the drawing what it looks like. I'm just trying to draw a rectangle. This is the bucket where the bird is standing. All right, nothing complicated, just simple bucket. So on top here is where this bird is going to sit. So we're going to have this really sketching an egret is not as complicated as you might think it is. Just one thing I'm going to give you here, a tip. When you draw something, just compare it to something else. For instance, I'm going to draw this egret, okay? And it's going to be standing right here by the edge of this can, right? So it's going to be, I'm going to draw, I'm going to go from the bottom on up so you can see it. Okay, so right here, if I pay attention, the tail of this egret sticks a little bit out of the line of the bucket. Okay, so that tells me, and here where the chest is, it goes almost like about a little bit past it, around the middle part. So what is that telling me? This tells me that this line should not go past this. You see? Like that. And we don't have to be very accurate yet because we are just sketching this. We're seeing how that's going to fit. And look at this one. You see? And here we're going to go and we're going to close it like this and think about making an S. Okay, from the bottom here. Thinking about making an S. And we're going to make this S like this. Okay, maybe a little bit too much here, and maybe we'll close it down like that. Now we're going to do another S on the other side, and this is for the neck. Now you can see it. And here, as we come along here, I'm going to bring this all the way around like this, and this is going to be looking this way. Okay, so there pretty much we have our egret. Okay, and I'm going to change a little bit the legs. It pretty much, you can see only one. Let's do it again. There. So the main thing is that we have the egret. That's what we want to sketch down first, because we're going to have to preserve some of the white. And this bucket also we're going to preserve on this side of the bucket. The sun is coming from this direction. Okay, so what that means is I'm going to add tone pretty much to all the rest of the paper, but try to save some of this white, especially in the bird there. And I'm adding tone pretty much. Look, I'm going to go all the way to the shady part of the bucket. You see that? And here I'm going to switch hands and do the same thing on this side, and we'll add tone the rest of the way. See how easy it is to. That's one thing I like charcoal. Just makes you you can get something done so fast, so easy. You don't have to fuss around, wait for something. It's just nice. So I think I have enough tone. I'm going to have the water kind of like coming in this direction here, and we're going to have some kind of wave maybe like this. So I'm going to do this. Okay, so this is where my sketch is going to be. Okay, now we're going to, well, let's just start. Let's start embedding the what charcoal is on top of the page into the tooth of the paper. That way, it will become more stable. It'll have more of a harmony, the whole piece when we do this. And it doesn't really matter if we cover it too much because we are still going to go and give it another layer. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty much the only thing we can see is just a little bit of the bird right here on top of the head in the bucket, which that's what I want to show. So now we're going to define this a little bit more. How do we do? Okay, here's some kind of bag in here going on. It was there. I'm sure where they keep who knows what. There, and then we had this bucket right next to it, and we had bucket usually is a little bit longer, so I'm going to make it a little bit longer. Not much of an angle. There. And here it's going to be some rocks. You can see that there. And just a few lines just to show maybe the direction of the water, where it's going. Okay? And again, here we're just going to start going back and forth because look at how when I go back and forth like this and skip some areas, it really creates the illusion of water movement. You see that? How the water is moving. So it's kind of like a nice little effect when you do that. And for me, it usually comes easier when I do it from the right to the left. Okay, that's when it really skips for me. And I really like this effect because it's just so easy to create the illusion of the water moving. I'm going to go all the way there, of course, like that. You see, I'm not too concerned about, oh my gosh, I can see the face, I can see the body very well, or the head, the beak, or whatever. There. Okay. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to go and get the eraser first, and I'm going to lift part of the white that I want to save, I want to preserve, okay? Because I don't want to add too much more charcoal to this because I want it to be white. So of course it will be the body of this bird, right, like that. Here I'm going to turn it more into a little tip, you see that? And so I can draw the back of the head of the bird there. Perfect. And then we have the neck of this bird there. And there. There. So we have the idea of what goes where now. And here we're going to get maybe a little bit. Always you see the dark line, you always put the highlight on top of that. That way it almost looks like the water, you know, or the highlight is right on top of the little wave. And here, this is water coming to shore, so I'm just going to, in broken strokes, you see I'm not being straight, broken strokes, I'm sorry, try to get this, like that. Here, maybe some little waves that coming and they're hitting these rocks. So we're going to lift some of that charcoal so it look like we got some waves action there. It has more movement. And here I'm going to leave it about the same. I have this wave, maybe I'm going to make it come up here a little bit. The way it's going to relate to the other side too. It's not going to be that choppy. There. So I say we have a pretty nice sketch right now. And look how fast it's just, you can do it very fast. Of course, this is not about speed, first of all. Okay, so when I say look how fast, I mean, you know, with a pencil would take me probably a lot longer. Well, I know the shapes, so for me, of course, it's going to be a lot easier than it will be for you. But still, it's done in a pretty good time. Now I'm going to go and start getting the darks. Okay, reestablish. This here is a bag. There, and have this little funny thing there. This bucket has this lines. We're going to add a little more tone or more charcoal to the paper here. There, and just make this darker. Back to this, kind of establish the white there. You see, there are certain areas that we want to really show the glow, where it's really getting the light. Like that's one area, and of course right here is the big one. And for the bucket, same thing. Okay, so what we're going to do now with a different charcoal that has a finer tip, and this is kind of like a medium, it's not like the softest. We're going to go and sort of like outline this, okay? And the reason why we're doing this is because this is going to allow you to see the shape better when we outline the first, okay? There. Here you outline it too, but be easy. There, and we're going to outline it there also. There. Here we're going to have I'm going to go over this because I want this water to show up a little bit more, so I'm going to darken it, and I'm going to remake sort of like that splash. Okay, you see how fast we can start creating something. It just doesn't really take much. And you don't really need to have very straight lines. With the exception of this, you know, a few places, then you can still do it without being that precise. And really, there's no need to have such a steady pulse. There, I'm going to do that because I want to get something sharp, and I want to put the eye of this bird right there, paying close attention to what's going on. Okay, maybe a few more highlights here for the water waves. one's going to be a little more. There. And of course, now comes, here was a big, it was a fishing pole right here, and it went like sort of like that, but maybe this was too thick. Maybe I'll just do another one. Look how easy it is to lift, you see? So if I make a mistake, I'm not really concerned about it too much because I can lift this so easy. This should be darker, this should be darker here, and here we should have some kind of shadow from this right there. Here we have this, and there, and there were rocks coming out. So forth. And we just about have this bird down. Yeah, clean it up, fresh highlights in some areas. Here, there, maybe a little bit more in the water. Maybe right here, this needs to be a little bit sharper. See, we're just kind of cleaning it up. That's all we're doing here. Just worrying about details here and there. Remember, just a few highlights here and there. This sort of like leading towards there. Okay, so I said this is pretty much done. As always, I kind of like to clean it a little bit. Maybe we don't need this area anymore. There. So we have a nice sort of like frame all the way around. Okay. And of course, sometimes it's just nice when it's just nice and uneven edges. That's also nice. But for this case, since we're learning how to do all of this stuff, we are just following some rules, and a lot of times we just tend to forget. Well, my friends, that was the exercise of the day. Remember, just do the main part was this, but look how easy it was. Remember, you just go one time like this, and then you go one time like this up, and then you come down like this, okay, until you have this shape, sort of like a funny looking triangle. And of course I'm going to lift that out there. And here where we just drew the S, you remember we just drew the S, oops, all the way up to the beak, okay? And stuff like that, don't worry much about it, because look, I can just go like this and get, you see? So nothing to worry about, nothing to get too excited about. Everything can be fixed on this, so you won't never have a wrong stroke. Most of the time you can prepare just about anything when it comes to charcoal, for as long as you don't use hard charcoal and embed it in the paper, you will be fine. Well, I hope you enjoyed this exercise, and I hope to see you again. A like would be beautiful. Subscribe. Until next time.